Well, I got stuck in a very interesting position. I guess we'll do our video like this. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. Hope you guys are having a good one. We are going to do a Rogue Legendary video, part 2. In the last Rogue Legendary video, we took a look at some of the Rogue's Legendaries. Hopefully, I'll remember to have that video linked down below if you want to check it out. But this is going to be a part 2 because finally, we can check out the rest of the Legendaries. Mostly the Subtlety Rogue Legendaries that we never got to check out last time. The Outlaw Rogue Legendaries that didn't work at all. As well as the one new Assassination Rogue Lego. So in today's video, we're mostly going to be taking a look at that. So, hope you guys enjoy. So, at the very beginning, I think what we'll do is we'll take a look at Outlaw Rogue Legendaries, because these are the ones, or maybe we should just finish Assass. Yeah, let's do a quick one with Assass. Let's do a quick kind of go over with Assassination, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of refresher on some of the other Legos they've had before. And we can even test certain Legos that didn't work prior. So, for Assassination Legos are going to be, I think these are right here. So we have some of the older ones we've had. Remaining cooldown of Vendetta is reduced by 1 second for every 65 energy you expended. We tried this legendary and I think it reduced Vendetta down to about 1.5 minutes in terms of CD. So kind of like if you were running Vision of Perfection, which with a Bloodlust I think you cut down maybe to 1.3. So you can make it a little bit shorter. We have this one. Your poisons and bleeds deal 30% increased damage to enemies below 30% health. We honestly could not test this legendary at all because, well, we can't really get train dummies to low health ever. But with the player or with a boss, this could be a really cool execute legendary. Then we have one with shoulders. Mutilate deals additional 20% bleed damage over 3 seconds. Envenom's damage is increased by 5% for each bleed you have on target. This ability was actually broken because it dealt way more than 5% for each bleed on the enemy. So that one was interesting. Now we have a new one where Envenom also increases the critical strike chance of your poisons by 30%, and the critical strikes generate 20 energy. So this is a brand new one, and this Lego actually has some of the new transmog stuff available. Rogues don't have all the transmogs for Legos yet, some classes do. I think this guy actually is. Their legendary looks are already out in the game, so you can see just how amazing that looks. But Rogues don't have anything, we still have a lot of placeholder gear. A lot of gear still looks like the Alliance Season 1 BFA gear. So hopefully Blizzard will have the actual sets available. Rogues were missing a helmet and shoulders, I think. Or maybe just the helm. So hopefully that'll be available sometime soon. So, taking a look at the Lego here. Envenom deal also increases the critical strike chance of poisons by 30%. So, in a PvE situation, if you're playing Assassination, let's say if you were to get your crit to 20% together with this legendary, when you pass Envenom, your poisons have a 50% chance to crit. If your poisons crit, then they do more damage. But also, they would give you 2 energy. So this one actually would be quite, maybe decent for Assassination. So let's try to see if we can get an Envenom. Do we get maybe an effect with this? I think my energy regen is happening. It's hard to tell them. You have an energy regen here. Do I need to reset it? Okay, so I don't really know if it actually is working. So let's get a bleed up. You can see... Oh, Dashed Scoundrel is actually getting regens. You can see the poisons when they crit. They actually do give energy. Just very little. And I think in a long-term Venom Rush might end up doing more. But Dashed Scoundrel is actually doing quite a bit of energy regen. I'm not gonna lie. So let me see if I can maintain my bleeds here. The biggest issue with this I could see is the fact that as Assassination you will not be able to envenom nearly as much going into this expansion, or at least right now while we have it with Slice and Dice, because sometimes you'll just need to spend calm points and the energy in order to get Garrotes up and running, in order to get Ruptures up and running, and the damage these abilities are doing is just not all that high right now whatsoever. So with this change, I don't really know how many more Envenoms are you going to be able to get as Assassination. One thing you'll be able to do is quite a bit of damage with Toxic Blade and Envenom. And if you can get Dash and Scoundrel to give you quite a bit of energy here and there, that would be nice. In order to maybe hopefully maintain your bleeds and your Slice and Dice, because everything is literally running out if I'm not literally on top of it every single second. And also on top of it, it doesn't really look like bleeds are pandemicing nearly as easily. Or no, they are for Rupture now, so I think that got fixed. But yeah, so with Assassination, I think we are going to be in a weird spot right now where this is going to give some energy regen, but you can see in percentages, like it's only some percent of my energy regen If I were to take away Venom Rush, would it really be that much more? A little, but not by much, because again, majority of the damage is still going to be from the bleeds, and yeah, it's a decent legendary for the idea. I just don't know how good it will be. I was hoping maybe the energy regen would be nicer, but this only works during Envenom. If maybe they took away, maybe made it so that Envenom has a higher chance to crit, and then all your poison crits generate energy, then I feel like just going for a highly crit build, and this could work passively. I don't really know. Right now, as it is, you're just not really going to get that much value on energy. It's a cool legendary in the idea, but it's just the way that Assassination has been structured. If this was Assassination of Legion, so like BFA Assassination, Rupture, Garrote, Envenoms, no Slice and Dice, then I think it would be much easier to get full value. And this is a cool legendary because it was a cool effect back in Legion. It was a tier set bonus, but in the current Assass, I just don't see how much of value we'll see of this ability. While I'm here, I might as well go over a few of the legendaries that were non-spec specific before we dive into the fun parts. And we took a look at those last time we took a look at rogue legendaries. While in stealth, you have a for 5 seconds, you have a 100% critical strike coming out of stealth, so vanish crits are going to be really good, just like a Legion legendary from back in the day. We have shift, causes your poisons and bleeds to spread to nearby targets, which I want to see if this one works now, because we do have assassination, but we do have quite a bit of bleeds. So bleeds and poisons to nearby targets. I don't know if I need to stand next to a target. Did it work? I didn't. So this still might work as a legendary on active targets, not training dummies, because sometimes training dummies have like a weird thing about them where they don't actually count like as an enemy. So the certain legendaries won't really function properly. But this potentially could have been fixed, but it's a really cool idea for Assassination as in like an AoE Lego. Then we have the chest where Vanish now reduces the main cooldown of your other abilities by 15 seconds, which is actually quite interesting because now it should probably hopefully work. So let's pop Vendetta on the enemy and you can see 2 minutes. Vanish. Do we get it back? Do we get it quicker? I don't think it worked. So, okay, I don't think this one works yet. At least they do have a specific number. But using Vanish to reduce the cooldown of your other abilities, I think would be quite valuable for Outlaw. Because Outlaw has a shorter Vanish anyway. Because of the, cooldown reduction mechanic where as you spend finishers, comp points into finishers, you reduce the cooldown of certain abilities, one of them being Vanish. So Outlaw would actually get quite a bit of Vanishes. So using Vanish to reduce the cooldown of other abilities, it's like a feedback loop in a way. So I think this could be really good to use this, let's say, after you press Adrenaline Rush. So this is a cool legendary. It still does not work, but it was a cool idea. And then the last one is your common points generators have a chance to infect the target with Bloodfang, causing him to bleed for a little bit extra, and healing the rogue for a little bit every time the bleed deals damage. So this one didn't do any kind of extra shenanigans for like Assassination, because Assass gets energy when targets that have poisons are bleeding. This doesn't give you more bleeds. It doesn't give you like anything extra. So this is just an extra bit of bleed damage for any rogue. It seems like just a base, somewhat of a damage increase, but it doesn't seem huge. It was kind of nice, and I think in PvP for like Outlaw against other rogues, you don't have bleeds. So this legendary could be good to like put a bleed on a rogue, they vanish, the bleed takes him out, you have him back out. So it's kind of like you get to play on everybody else's like footing. And now let's get into some Outlaw legendaries, and these are really, really cool. Already do I have one legendary as part of my gear set, so let's just start with this one. This is an old familiar friend if you played Combat Rogue back in, I think, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, or Warlords of Draenor. Apparently this was an effect back in Wrath or anything, so this is not like a rogue's familiar thing, but this one is the ability I grew up with. It's a passive. It's called, well, I think the actual legendary has a different name, but it's an old school ability of Bandit's Guile. Definitely look it up. Take advantage of the natural ebb and flow of combat. Causes your Sinister Strike to gradually increase your damage dealt by up to 30%. This effect will last until cancelled before fading and begin a cycle anew. So the ability itself, this is how it works. So for every Sinister Strike that you would do as an Outlaw Rogue, you need 4 Sinister Strike to reach green buff, which is going to be the 10% buff. Then you need 4 more Sinister Strikes to reach the yellow buff, and then 4 more to reach the red buff. So this is an old school mechanic that Outlaw Rogues used to have back when Revealing Strike was a thing. So let me get the opener here. I should probably get like Chrome points, buffs, and everything. So let's just press Sinister Strikes. 1. I think that's 2 or 3, but we got a proc from one of our conduit abilities where Sinister Strike can just do a bunch of hits. So we reach the green buff. Shallow Insight. 10% damage increase, and we can get into 20%. fairly quickly. Again, I did get a crazy proc with Sinister Strikes though for this to happen, so yeah. So you can maintain this buff very easily just by pressing Sinister Strike, and eventually you would reach the red buff, where you have these blades show up, which is the graphic they added back in WoD. So it's literally the same effect as back in WoD, where you can do 30% more damage. So for Outlaw Rogues, this gives you a 30% damage increase. This is massive for the spec. Something the spec really doesn't have in terms of damage increases. 30% more, imagine during burst situations, like with a Killing Spree, or with a Dreadblade setup. This could be huge for what Outlaw Rogues can do. And it's not like you generate 30 and you sit with 30% damage increase at all times. It gives you between 10, 20, and 30 damage increase. So this is a huge, humongous legendary, I'd say. It's, first of all, not only nostalgic, but I think it's going to be super effective. So you can kind of delay and stay in certain, let's say, I was going to call it eclipses, but you can stay in inside for quite longer if you want to, or if you want to push yourself into the 30% whenever you need to. You could totally do it as Outlaw as well. It's really easy to do. It's kind of easy to control. It's really, really effective as a Lego, and I'm a huge, huge fan. Not only, mostly because it's nostalgia, but also for how effective I think it's going to be for Outlaw. It looks really good, and it's super fun to play with. It's just a passive, but being able to line up this passive during your burst situation. Let's say it's a boss that takes more damage during certain phases of a fight, right? They'll just be demolishing your team over and over, just AoE damage, and they'll need to kind of power down and collect energy. There's a couple of bosses in Shadowlands that do that. So when they do that, and if you can reach 30% damage increase during that time, you can really get some big numbers out. So for Outlaw Rogue, if you ever felt like the spec really doesn't have any burst, it will have burst now. It's just it'll be more of a ramp up burst, but at least it's burst nonetheless to some extent. Huge, huge fan of this legendary. It's super fun to play with. Then we have another legendary, which is also from Legion, actually. This is another one that's coming back. When Saber Slash strikes an additional time, there's a 33% chance your next pistol shot will fire 3 additional times. Now, this will make so many of you guys ask questions of, well, does it generate combo points? Is it big damage? Can it benefit buffs like quick draw, like 3 shots of quick draw enhanced damage? How good is this gonna be? So this one is interesting. It is a little bit broken. It doesn't work properly yet. The next pistol shots will do a lot. No combo points. Fill up your combo point bar whatsoever. So again, I would need to try this together with to see if it actually gives you benefits in terms of the variety of damage. So what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna reset it, and we're just going to try to see if we can get ourselves a proc to see if all the shots have increased damage aspect to it. If not all of them do, then this would be a talent where you would actually play Weapon Master easily. I'm not gonna press pistol shot at all. Hopefully I'll have a pistol shot opportunity buff available when this happens. There it is. Ready? Did all these pistol shots do similar damage? Normal hits. One normal hit did more damage, then the crits didn't do as much. So the normal hit had the benefit of the quick draw. So it looks like with this, you might not end up playing quick draw, because Weapon Master will generate all this extra combo points, and only the initial shot will deal 50% more damage. So Weapon Master would give you more chances to critical strike, or to head a second time. So I think you would need to play Weapon Master with this talent, or with this legendary. So that's an interesting combination, unless I got it wrong just now in this video. It does seem, because I mean the first hit of my pistol shot did more damage than the second two, and the first hit would have been less if the others were crits. Like if all of them got the benefit, of quick draw, then the crit should have been more than the actual hit. But here it seems that you'll get 3 shots, and I guess that would be really good with the Weapon Master play style. So I guess you would just Sinister Strike until you get that proc, and then you would kind of blunderbuss the enemy. It's so cool. I like it a lot. I actually think it's really, really unique. So this might actually give you a little bit different talents, maybe like Ghost of Strike to run or Weapon Master in this role instead of Quick Draw if you end up picking up this legendary, unless this is supposed to work together with Quick Draw and all 3 shots are supposed to be buffed by 50%, but kind of doubt it. But we'll have to wait and see how this goes in the future. And then for Outlaw Rogues, we have the belt, which is going to give us the good old dead shot, which is the bracers from Legion, or made it into traits in BFA. However, this legendary just does not work at all. So something about the, I think the problem is the full fact of the way that the way that Between the Eyes works, I think it doesn't recognize it as the same ability, because it would Between the Eyes, it would give me a buff, so the ability does more damage, and wouldn't hit for more than 700. It would hit for way more than 700. So right now, it doesn't work at all. I don't understand why. So when this works, I think it's going to be a really solid Lego. I think it's going to be still a strong one, because I was thinking to myself, like, we have this blunderbuss thing. Is the blunderbuss effect better than the dead shot, or is single like dead shot going to be better? I think they're going to be equal strong to one another. I think it depends on what talents you'll run. This will probably be better for consistent damage. This will probably be better for that burst shot damage. But then again, we only have like a delayed burst thing for Outlaw, so it's very interesting Legos we got. And then finally we have a ring with the Adrenaline Rush effect. You have a chance, while Slice and Dice is active, to gain Adrenaline Rush for 3 seconds. So what I'm going to do is put a timer on 3 minutes to see how often we get Adrenaline Rush. And we have details here, so we can just kind of start auto-attacking the enemy and kind of let it happen for 3 seconds. And all I need to do is maintain Slice and Dice the whole time. So I don't need to do any extra damage. I don't need to do any extra abilities. There goes 1 charge of Slice and Adrenaline Rush. So we can see how many times did it proc and how often did we have it. So what is the uptime of Adrenaline Rush without us... Oh, wait, pressing Adrenaline Rush. I didn't press Adrenaline Rush just now. Did this put Adrenaline Rush for me on cooldown? Oh no, now I'm looking because I don't think I pressed Adrenaline Rush just now. I think I put it on cooldown. Oh no, if that's the truth. What? It puts it on cooldown. What? That's not how it's supposed to work. And time. And we're gonna take off Slice and Dice just to make sure we don't get more procs. So normally in a 3-minute fight, you would be able to get at least 2 Adrenaline Rushes. It's a 3-minute cooldown, but with cooldown reduction that Outlaw gets, it's honestly like a 1.5 minute CD. With certain buffs, you could actually get 3 of those in a 3-minute fight. So you're looking at between 20 seconds and 60 seconds. So I'd say let's say it's 50 seconds, or as kind of close to a 50-second ballpark of uptime for this buff. Now, can this legendary compete in terms of the uptime? Let's find out. So Adrenaline Rush we had for 39 seconds. So it's basically given us 2 Adrenaline Rushes worth of uses in the 3-minute window, which is like the minimum. But with True Bearing, you could get more of them if you had proper Adrenaline Rush. I think this would be a decent legendary if we didn't have True Bearing as a buff, because it basically just presses Adrenaline Rush for you. But it doesn't actually do anything for you as an ability. It doesn't actually enhance anything, it just presses it for you. Now, when this ability, if they change it so it doesn't put Adrenaline Rush on cooldown and just gives you more charges of Adrenaline Rush, then I think it could be a decent Lego. But even with the uptime of what, like 3 seconds, I don't really know. Is it that good? I don't really know. It's too early to tell. I don't think so, though. It's maybe too early, but I don't think so. And now we have the sub-rogue legendaries. Take a look at it, boys. It is the first time we're looking at subtlety rogue legendaries ever. So this is going to be as new to me as it is new to all of you. We'll start from, I think, left or right from left. It'll be this or that. What the hell? There's one that's missing for subtlety. Okay, I got him to work. Apparently one of the legendaries would not work if I put it on a chest piece, but it would work if I put it on a cloak. So we're good. I think it should finally work. So we can finally take a look at subtlety rogue legendaries, and this is most exciting because we are getting legendaries super late for rogues, so the expectations are high. So how good are these? And Blizzard is going to be taking a lot of feedback from legendaries on Legion or effects from Legion. It's not super creative, but these at least could be really good for sub-rogues. And we'll take a look at them here. So first one is going to be a cloak. And if you play in Legion, this will be very familiar. Eviscerate, Rupture, and Shadow Bolt increase the damage of your next use of finisher move by 20%. So the next finisher is going to be stronger. I don't think it should apply for Eviscerates. Wait, what? Huh? What? Deeper daggers. Wait, hold on. If I eviscerate, it disappears. Wait, why does it disappear? Hold on. Oh, what? It's gone. It disappears so fast. Why does it disappear? Oh, what's going on? Oh no, I don't like that. Okay, so if I rupture, your next rupture damage is increased. Wait, wait. Okay, this actually doesn't work properly. So if I rupture, this rupture will do more damage. Okay, so I thought this made it so that your first finisher would make all other finishes stronger, but it feels like your Rupture makes your next Rupture stronger. So your first Shadow Vault will make the next Shadow Vault stronger. Oh, it doesn't even work because Shadow Vault doesn't even proc it. But Eviscerate, as soon as you use any ability besides Eviscerate, it doesn't work. Okay, so this one is still janky. It still doesn't work, but it will make you Eviscerate, buff your next Eviscerate, Rupture, buff your next Rupture, and Shadow Vault, buff your next Shadow Vault. This could actually be really good. Then we have the gloves, where after using Shadow Strike or Cheap Shot, your target suffers a Shadow Strikes from the shadows 2 seconds later at 100% effectiveness. So this is going to be actually a legendary effect from back in Legion. So if I were to, let's say, catch a Restealth here and Shadow Strike the enemy, you would see a second Shadow Strike right after. So in PvP, this could be really, really good. Do a Shadow Strike. There goes the Shadow Strike. Wait, was that me Shadow Strike it twice? Is that what that was? 1 cast, 2 hits. Okay, so what does it look like? I'm just Shadow Striking. Am I getting random Shadow Strikes in between? Yo, it generates combo points. Let's go. That's so strong. What? Oh my goodness. It's such a delay, but it's so strong. I got 6 Shadow Strikes and 12 hits. That's insane. And during cheap shots, it basically lets you give free Shadow Strikes. The fact that this generates combo points is ludicrous. What? That's insane. If this only gave you damage, I think this would be strong on its own, but this gives you combo points. Oh no, this is really bad. Imagine this together with Weapon Master. That would be nutty. I think you have to go Dark Shadow, Night Stalker with this one. You have to go for the burst. You have to max out the damage. It gives you so many combo points. Hold on. Is this for real? Hold on. Shadow Strike? I'm auto-attacking. It gave you combo points. Okay, so the one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't actually have a playstyle with your conduits. Like, there's one where Shadow Strikes increase the damage of backstab. So when I Shadow Strike once, it gives me the stack. Second Shadow Strike will not give me a second stack. But this is really strong. This is overpowered, and in PvP this would be incredibly good. It definitely would give you a weird playstyle because of this delay of like 2 seconds later. It will Shadow Strike and give you combo points. So it's almost like you gotta predict that you're about to generate combo points for free there. So if you can time it somehow to like global on global on global, like with a simple pattern, like as a rogue you would open up as a cheap shot, Shadow Strike, Rupture, you give a Shadow Strike right here, and then it'll do another Shadow Strike right after. So maybe you can just kind of give it a second, let it Shadow Strike, and then it'll do a second Shadow Strike, and you'll just eviscerate right after into the same global type of deal. And it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Then we have another one for Cloak. After 2 seconds, for 2 seconds after activating Symbols of Death, your Shadow Strike Gloomblade generate 4 additional combo points. This is a good way for your rogue to just get full 5 combo points immediately anytime you need it. So let's say you're just trying to get a little bit of an opener here. You will go for, I don't know, you will go for, I guess, Slaughter into Slice and Dice to 5 combo points into immediate Eviscerate. So this will give you a little bit extra burst every time you have your Symbols of Death available, which is a kind of a good, decent legendary when it comes to doing burst. This will also be pretty good if you're going to go for a Symbols of Death into a Backstab, Eviscerate, then into Shadow Strikes, and then go for Eviscerate right after. So this is very similar. This is actually exactly the same as Legion Legendary. I remember this one being decent, but this was never a legendary that carried the rogue. This was a nice tag on legendary when you already have one effect. And if in this expansion we get 2 legendaries to use at a later time, then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to use this legendary together with another legendary to create a really strong wombo combo. But by itself, I don't think this legendary is going to be that strong. It could be really, really good for making sure you can get like a quick backstab into Slice and Dice if you ever need to do that, so it'll be good in value. And every 30 seconds it has a pretty good uptime. You're never going to use it for like Symbols of Death into Shadow Strike, backstab to generate like overdraw combo points. But yeah, this is an interesting legendary overall. I do like it, but I don't know how good it can carry it by itself. And then finally we have a belt legendary, which I was excited about. Vanish grants 5 combo points and increases all damage dealt by 15% for 10 seconds. This is going to be a really strong bursty legendary. So let's go for full Shadow Blades and full burst here. We'll just see how well it works. So we'll vanish, big eviscerate, big shots, huge damage, huge damage with Shadow Strikes, huge damage. Oh, so much shadow damage. Oh my god, 15% damage increase with this. Did we have it? Tell me we had it. Tell me we had it. Tell me we had it. Master Shadows, Shadow Dance, Deathly Shadows, there it is. For 10 seconds, we have 15% more damage and generates 5 combo points. This was nuts. This was actually insanely strong Lego combo. Wow, the burst you can do with this is insane. And also with conduits where I do a lot more shadow damage, I think is this one. Eviscerate Shadow Wall, increase your shadow damage dealt. This is going to be really, really strong as well for the burst. Yeah, this is going to be really, really good. This is a really cool combo. Huge, huge fan. I think this legendary is going to be maybe the playmaker. 15% more damage, and on Vanish you get 5 combo points. Turns Vanish into an offensive ability rather than defensive ability. In PvP, if everything crits, this will be insane in terms of the damage numbers it puts out. This is going to be really cool. I like this one a lot. I'm actually really excited for this one. Overall, I gotta say, the Sub-Rogue Legendaries have been really, really good though. So there you guys go on the Rogue Legendaries Part 2. We finally got to take a look at all of them and with the final build. Not all of them work properly. That should be mentioned. Not all of them work yet. They'll work eventually, but the ideas behind them are really good. For Sub-Rogues, we got some unimaginative legendaries that are not brand new and unique. However, they are effective any way you slice it. Literally just slice and dice, and it's really, really strong. I'm a huge, huge fan. I think Blizzard gave them really strong ones. Outlaw got some really cool ones too. Huge fan of the nostalgia, but also huge fan of the effectiveness, because I think these are really strong as well. The Assassination Lego that we got to check out today, the final one that we didn't take a look at before, is good, but I don't know how it will fit with Assassination right now. We're still expecting more changes to Assassination, maybe sometime soon, but overall, these have been really good. I'm actually a huge, huge fan of the legendaries. I think rogues have gotten good ones in general. I'm more meaning in terms of like the functionality within dungeons and raids and different playstyles and builds that these legendaries have to offer. Huge fan. I think we got some really good ones. I mean, some classes have got just proc-based legendaries or something non-unique and uninspiring. I think we got some really good ones. I think we hit the jackpot. Yeah, so I'm excited about legendaries. Definitely solidifies even further than it already was in terms of playing a rogue for the next expansion. I think this is going to be great as long as you can earn a lot of these relatively easily and you can get all the legendaries. You'll have something available for all situations. And what's cool is none of the legendaries really feel like they're single target focused or AoE focused, at least from the outlaw and sub perspective. Then the Shiv one for Assassin could actually be a really big game changer. Make it easier for you to spread all your damage over time, much easier, once it works as well. So these need to get to the point where they function. I'll need to report them in the BNet thing for like bugs or whatever. But once they finally work, I think these are going to be really solid. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm very, very excited with these legendaries. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd like to hear you guys' opinions on it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see all of you in the next one.